There is major news out of the Middle East. The Strait of Hormuz is now open to commercial tankers carrying crude oil and a host of other commodities from the Persian Gulf to customers worldwide. That's according to both Iran's foreign minister and the U.S. president. Now, for the latest on this, let's bring in Global's Washington correspondent, Reggie Cecchini. So, Reggie, a massive reversal and a relief as far as energy markets are concerned here. What is the latest update that we know about the Strait of Hormuz reopening?
Well, you're right that this was first announced by the Iran Foreign Ministry, who said that it was open to all commercial traffic for the duration of what's left of this ceasefire. And we know that there are only a few days left before it runs out towards the beginning of next week. Donald Trump followed that to say that it was open, while also adding Iran has promised to never close the strait again. It's unclear if that is a concession that was extracted by the United States out of Iran, given the fact that Tehran has tried to use its control over the strait as leverage in negotiations to where we are now, and insisted that that would be the case going forward. It's important to note here that Iran is saying to commercial vessels only. There is still a significant military presence that is in the region. We know that the United States Navy is continuing its blockade per the Pentagon and the U.S. president, and it's unclear if those American military vessels would be able to get through to bases in, say, Bahrain, which would be past the Strait of Hormuz. It is not clear that the United States is ultimately going to accept that as a condition. So there is still a lot to try and be worked out. The details are still incredibly murky. It's also worth pointing out that Iran has said that this would be in coordination with the IRGC, possibly meaning that there are still mines that are laid throughout the strait here, creating some dangers. So this is an announcement. The question is, how long is it going to take for this to become a formalized and full process?
All right, so Reggie, this development coming on the back of the 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, which was announced yesterday. What will this mean for the ongoing talks between the U.S. and Iran?
Well, I mean, look, this ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel was a condition that was laid by the Iranian government and its officials when they were discussing the initial beginnings of the ceasefire that's now in place. And remember, it was Israel and the United States that walked back to say that this ceasefire would not be widespread and would not move towards the fight with Hezbollah. Ultimately, that was itself walked back, and we saw Donald Trump carry out some shuttle diplomacy over the phone between Wednesday and Thursday, with Israel and Lebanon getting on board. This is a 6-point plan between these two countries that don't have diplomatic relations, that is going to see Israel remaining in Lebanon. It's going to see Lebanon trying to work with Hezbollah to disarm it. It's not clear if that's going to happen. This is a far more tenuous ceasefire, but the longer it holds, the better it may be for Iran, considering Iran is the one who is ultimately funding its proxy in Lebanon with Hezbollah. So if that ceasefire goes forward and continues on for the 10 days that it's supposed to be, this could be beneficial for Iran and could allow for talks to proceed if and when those are finally determined.
All right, and Reggie, all of this, should bring gas prices down, but of course there have been concerns around the economy, and they've been front and center for some time in the U.S. How has President Trump been responding to those worries?
Well, two different things here. Number one, the strait opening up, immediately we saw the price of oil tank. And we saw markets tick up. So this is going to be a net benefit for Donald Trump to talk about while he is in Arizona on Friday. On Thursday, he was in Las Vegas, and he was kind of shrugging off the economic pains that most Americans are feeling, saying that gas prices aren't that high and that they could be higher. And while that's true, they're still around $5 a gallon in Las Vegas, and that is burning a hole in some Americans' pockets. And this is an election year. So if Donald Trump is trying to argue that the economy isn't as bad as Americans may feel that it is, this could become a net negative for Republicans as they walk towards the midterm. Still, Trump is trying to argue that inflation that is existing around the country is quote-unquote fake inflation. That's what he said yesterday while he was leaving D.C. to head towards Nevada. With the strait now open, this is going to be a message that he's going to try to pump to say that the economy is potentially going to do better, arguing that his claims of short-term pain for long-term gain may have ultimately proven true. We need to wait to see. But he's trying to sell an economy that, at least for now, most Americans simply don't see as good.
All right, Reggie, thanks so much for the update. We appreciate it. That is our Washington correspondent, Reggie Cecchini.